Good day, South Africa. Welcome to it. As always, my name is Danny Kambo. I'm your host for today's show. And guess what? I know we've always been thinking, it's always good, to teach our kids and nurture our kids, to grow and have the best that they can in the world. And we can either do that by teaching them, by being in school, we can do that by doing sports, or we can do it by playing games. All right, so joining me in studio today is Mr. Norman Fredericks, who's here to speak to us about a game that he invented called Millionaires in the Making. So, Mr. Norman, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Oh, you're welcome. And how are you feeling? How are you doing?
A bit nervous. First time I do something like this.
No, don't be nervous. We're going to have fun. Okay, so just to speak a little bit more about yourself, people that do not know you, can you tell us a bit more about yourself, your background, where you've come from?
Look, I was born in Johannesburg.
Yeah.
I'm the eldest, two other brothers. And I think when I was about 6 years old, my parents decided to immigrate from Johannesburg to Cape Town.
Yeah.
They wanted to create a better financial future for themselves. However, my father stayed here for 6 months, and then he decided that Cape Town was not for him.
Yeah.
So I've been, oh, by the way, the next thing my mother heard, not from him, but about him, she discovered that he was involved with another woman.
Oh, man. Yeah.
She there and then decided that she was going to raise us on her own. So I've been in Cape Town, being raised by a one-parent lady, my mother. So I've been in Cape Town all my life.
Wow. So seeing that you've been in Cape Town all your life and living in the community that you're living now, what have you done in the community to get this respect that you're getting today?
I don't know if I'm getting a lot of respect, but I've done a few things, you know what I mean? I qualified as a teacher, but right from the word go, I decided I want to be wealthy one day. So I only taught for 5 years. And the reason why I taught for 5 years was because, in those days they used to give you loans. And if you taught for 5 years, at the end of 5 years, you did not have to repay the loan.
Okay.
So I've been a teacher, and the reason why, like I said, why I just taught for 5 years, because I wanted to become wealthy. And I could see that I could never become wealthy staying a teacher.
Wow. So you moved on and you did what you did.
In fact, I still had the stub of my first check. 105 rand.
Wow. You can barely do anything with 105 rand.
No, we could do a lot. We could buy the week's groceries for about 4 rands.
Wow.
So you could do a lot, But if you compare it with what people are earning today,
it's nothing. Now speaking about the money, what you've earned back then, and now times have changed. Being 80, I believe, you've come through a lot of milestones in your life. Can you just tell us a little bit more of those? How did you have to overcome it?
Wow. Have you got enough time to listen to it? Look, like I said, I just taught for 5 years, and then I went into partnership with a man that knew about business, right? Well, that's what I thought. I thought he knew about business. But in fact, he did know about business, but he was a race goer.
Okay.
And being a race goer, the business lasted for about 2 years, and then it went bankrupt. So after that, in fact, I found myself in a situation while this was happening, in a situation where my wife said to me one day, "Can you please go down to the chemist and go and buy a tin of SMA for our child?" Now, SMA is baby food.
Yeah.
And you know what, Danny? I did not have 69 cents to go buy a tin of SMA. So what did I do? I walked in the direction of where they were selling the SMA, a chemist down the road, without a penny on my name. Walked in that direction, and along came somebody that I did not know that well. So I stopped him, and I asked him if he couldn't lend me a rand. Now, he knew that we had a shop, so he started laughing, saying, "You're making fun of me. You've got a shop down there, and you're asking me for a rand." But then you could see I was very, very serious because, you know, I actually had a tear running down here. I still get emotional when I think about it. Nevertheless, when he saw that, he took out the rand and he gave it to me. And I bought the SMA. That is how poor I have been in my life, where I did not have 69 cents for a ton of SMA.
Wow.
So you can understand why I'm so passionate, that people should get to know how money works.
Yes, sir. No, I totally understand. And also, you know, being in the position you've been in, which means you've acquired many knowledge and wisdom. And to young people mostly, we think it is that older people are irrelevant. Can you tell us why do you think it is important for the young ones to get that wisdom from the older ones?
You know, when children are young, they are young. And their existence is all about having fun.
Yeah.
They've got no responsibilities, really. As older people, you know, you've been exposed to the world. You've learned what life is all about. Okay. So just looking at it from that point of view, I think older people have got a lot of added advantage that they can give to the younger ones.
Yes, sir.
By teaching them what life is all about. But I think it's important as to how you teach it. You must teach it so that it doesn't become a lecture. It must also be fun, you know. Hence this
game. Yeah. So you've created that board game which teaches children about. Can you just tell us a little bit more about the game?
Look, parents have a lot of wishes for their children.
Yeah.
But I think the three that really stand out is, number one, parents want their children to grow into strong, positive individuals. This is what they wish for their children. Unfortunately, most parents don't know how to go about that. That's wish number one, okay?
Yeah.
Wish number two, they want their children to become wealthy. Wealthy people live in comfort. But wealthy people also add to the world, to the betterment of the world. And third wish, and this is very close to my heart. If we have a bit of time, I could go into why it's so close to my heart. Parents do not want their children to become involved in drugs. I mean, if you ask parents out there whether they are worried about drugs, the answer is always yes. But you ask those same parents, if you're so worried about it, how much are you doing about it? And then you discover they're not doing as much as they're supposed to be doing. So you can understand.
Yeah. So
what I've done is I've taken those three wishes, married them, and I've come up with a solution, a life skill aid. Yeah. This is actually a bit of a tool in the hand of the parent, but in the hand of the game, in the hand of the kids,
it's a game.
It's a game.
Okay, we're just going to take a short break, Mr. Norman. So for those of you that's watching at home, please do not go anywhere, because when we come back from the break, we're going to continue our conversation. So do stay tuned. All right, welcome to it. If you just tuned in, you're not too late. You're watching Open Studio on Cape Town TV. As always, I'm your host for today's show. My name is Danny. And yes, with me in studio is Mr. Norman Fredericks, who is joining us to speak about a game that he invented, which is to inspire the young minds from the ages of 6 to 16. Mr. Fredericks, before the break, we spoke a little bit about the three main reasons as to why you started this game. And you said there was one that stood out for you, and which was the third one. Can you just elaborate more on that one for us?
Like I said, I found myself destitute, looking for 69 cents. On my way back from the chemist, my wife said to me, can you please bring a half a loaf of bread? So I was supposed to buy SMA and a half a loaf of bread with no money in my pocket. But so on my way back, I went into a shop and I bought a half a loaf of bread. And this man said to me, the owner of the shop, why are you buying bread from us today? Is your bread finished already? Now he wasn't aware as to what the situation was all about. While I'm standing there, my eyes fell on his stockings, display of stockings. So I immediately requested, in fact I pleaded for him to give me some of those stockings so that I could go and sell it. And you know what he did? He said to me, take what you want. So one minute I was unemployed, the next minute I was employed because I had stockings that I could sell. But to cut a long story short,
Yes, sir.
I was then approached by a friend of mine to come and join him to do life insurance. He explained to me what it was all about, and I thought, wow, this is my opportunity. So I did join him. Somebody phoned me and said to me, there's a lady in Bonteheuwel that wanted a one-parent policy. Danny, I'll never forget this. Never ever, as long as I live. I knocked on that door. Lady opened the door. And then a strange thing happened. There was a little boy sitting on the couch. I think he must have been about 6 years, 7 years old. And when he saw this stranger, he jumped up from that couch, ran, came between his mommy and me, and he looked up at me and he said, "Uncle, what do you want in our house?" Very, very aggressively, wanting to protect his mother. For a minute, I did not know what to do. But then I realized, those days what I used to do was I used to carry sweets in my pocket. And wherever there were children, I used to leave a few sweets. So without saying a word, I took 2 sweets out of my pocket, brushed it past him, didn't take any notice of him, showed it to his mommy, and I said to his mommy, "Mommy, I brought your son some sweets. Is it all right if I give it to him?" She turned around and said, "Yes, he loves sweets." And with a big smile on my face, I gave it to him. And we became, I think as a result of that, we became very close.
Yeah, so you've named the game, you've spoken about your past now, where you come from a difficult background, where you had nothing to something, and then you've labeled your game as Millionaires in the Making. Why is that? Why inspire this name?
When I retired, I retired at 55, I decided I was going to do some workshops for the community. One of the things that I discovered was that these people were extremely enthusiastic, when you taught them about budgeting and investments and changing your mindset about money. I thought this was the answer.
Yeah.
But the strange thing is that when I went back to these same people, say after a year, just to check on their progress, I discovered that they had gone back to their old way of doing things. And it is that made me decide that we have to get involved with children.
Yes, sir.
Children have to be educated from an early age as to what money is all about.
That hence the name. So when we speak about children, which means the parents have to get involved.
Yes, the parents have to be involved.
So you've created this game now to assist parents create a favorable characteristics for the children. So how has the parents been reacting to this?
They've been, the other night I did a presentation, and this is what in fact, his name is, let me just say, Mr. Waheb Asher. Mr. Waheb Asher said to me, "Wow, this is brilliant." That's the type of reaction I've been getting from. In fact, I even went to a principal, the primary school, and he said to me, "This is groundbreaking." But that's what they say. I hope if it is, well, I'd love people just to get to know about it so they can make up their own mind as to whether it is.
So we spoke about children, and can you just, for those that's watching, for those that do not know, is hearing about this the first time, what are the age groups that you are targeting?
I would say from age 7, however 6, if they can read. You see, children must be able to read if they want to have maximum benefit out of this. I would say from age 7 up to age 16. Even 18 if they've never ever been exposed to this type of thing.
Yeah. So what does the game teach its players, from the different age groups? What does the game teach them?
It teaches them, those 3 wishes that I expressing the parents have for their children.
Yes.
That's what it achieves.
Yeah. And you've been getting positive feedback from the children that have played it already.
Yes.
All right. So what can we expect in the future? Where do you see yourself in the future with this?
Man, I'm 81 years of age, and I am quite excited as to where this should go. I'm extremely passionate that people must get to know about it. If you ask me where do I see it going?
Yes.
I think after my death, I think it's going to go. It's going to. It's
just
going to
gonna
go all
And
over.
I think that is so far to come, because I can't believe when you said you were 82. I was like, man, this is amazing. And you don't look 82. And you
Ask my
mentioned
wife and she confirmed that.
and you mentioned that you did quite a bit of sports when you were young.
Yeah, look, I qualified as a teacher.
Yeah.
First year I couldn't get a post. Believe it or not, in those days it was difficult to find a post. And then I decided to go back and do a specialist course. You know, in those days they had what they call PT teachers, physical training teachers.
Physical training, yeah.
So that was my connection with sport.
Okay.
Would you believe it if I told you that I ran a half mile in 2 minutes and 2 seconds?
Oh no. No way.
Wouldn't be able to do it today.
But you've done it. Which
Yeah,
is
I've
a
done it,
milestone
yes.
you've achieved. Yeah. So for the young ones that's looking at this, have it for the first time, if you open it, what are we expected to see inside?
Would you like me to open it?
We can just describe it, and then on the
Well,
next segment, then we will open it. Yeah.
The game itself is divided.
I think what we should do, when we're going to take a short break now, when we come back, and then we open it and we speak all about it. Is okay. Okay, so for those of you that's watching us at home, please do stay tuned. It's about to get even more exciting. Okay, so after the break, we continue our conversation with Mr. Fredericks, so don't go anywhere. All right, welcome to what you are watching Open Studio on Cape Town TV. I'm your host for today's show. My name is Danny Kamba. And yes, the moment we've been waiting for has arrived. I know you've been wondering, when are we going to open this thing? It has been open. And if you just tuned in with me in studios, Mr. Fredericks, okay? He's here to speak to us about the game that he designed, which helps parents and children discover the inner goal, or to better themselves within the community. So, Mr. Fredericks, is open now. I see it's open. Yeah. So can you tell us a bit more about what we're looking at?
Look, the container, the box itself is divided into 2 parts.
Yeah.
This part, that way, is all about character development.
Okay.
With the emphasis on getting or helping the parent to help their children not to become involved in drugs.
Okay.
That part, that way, is all about money, nurturing, money wisdom. Getting children to understand how money works. In fact, this game will take your 8-year-old to start investing on the stock exchange.
Wow. So looking at the card, can you just give us an example of one characteristic from any of the cards? Maybe just read one out for us.
Yeah. Well, this is how it works. It's an accepted fact that if you direct an affirmation at anybody, especially if you direct it at children, they will absorb it, and eventually they will become that affirmation. So with that in mind, what I've done is I've come up with 12 affirmations, 1 for each month. Now, just to give you an idea as to how it works, on the first day of the month, just on the first day, the parent will sit down with the child, have a short discussion about it, nothing long, nothing deep. After that, it's going to be the child's responsibility, responsibility to read this affirmation every day. This fits in here.
Yeah.
And every day when that child reads that affirmation, they have to look into the mirror. So they're actually talking to themselves.
Okay.
As soon as a child is finished reading that affirmation, runs to mommy, daddy, and says, "Mommy, I've read my affirmation." I'm sure by the 5th day, this child will know this affirmation out of his head. Mommy then rewards that child with a small token amount, 20 cents, 30 cents. And that is just to keep the child motivated.
Yes.
Now, because drugs is my number 1 enemy, I've made that affirmation number 1. And it says here, I have a beautiful future where there is no room for drugs.
Wow.
So every day this child will be exposed to the story for 30 days. The others are all character development. And remember I said the emphasis on drugs. So 4 of them relates directly to drugs.
Drugs, yeah. So when a parent rewards the child with a 20 cents or 30 cents, obviously they cannot do anything with it, but they are getting money.
Yeah.
So what does this game teach children about money?
Some parents are inclined to give their children pocket money. In my world, I would say that should be a no-no.
Yeah.
Because when you give children money, they are inclined to think that they will always receive money.
There we go. Yeah.
Until they discover one day, I have to work for money. So as a substitute for that, we make available what we call a job chart.
Yes.
And on it, we've got a variety of jobs. And the first thing that the parents will do is, they will sit down with their children, work out the value of each job, something which is fair to the child, something which the parent can afford. As soon as that is done, right? Oh, by the way, we've got some fun jobs here. We've got some like watching TV and getting paid for it, or going to a restaurant, or playing your hobby. We've got some evil ones here also, eh? Study for half an hour, or parent's choice. Nevertheless, as soon as that is done, the child has then available 5 dice. Now, why 5? Well, the highest denomination on a dice is 6.
Yeah.
And 5 times 6 is 30.
Yeah.
Right.
So 6 times 6 is 36. Yeah.
30, 30 jobs.
Yeah.
So if the child throws these dice, the first thing that they must do is they must add up the total number, and that will denote which job must be done for the day.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes, sir. Wow.
Now, the next thing that must be decided is, are we going to pay this child daily, weekly, or monthly? And in most cases, parents are going to pay their children monthly, because they are paid monthly. So to do that, the child must keep record of what is earned.
Okay.
And to do that, we have what we call a salary chart.
Wow.
Would you like me to continue explaining it?
Just briefly, then we can go into the,
Every time this child does a job, he gets what we call a crystal sticker. That crystal sticker gets stuck into this column. There are 12 columns, 1 for each month.
Okay.
At the end of the month, the child will add up how many crystal stickers he's earned. That gets written in here. Remember, every time the child gets a sticker, he also writes down how much he earned for that particular job. That gets written in here. And at the end of the month, it gets added up. So at the end of the month, when the child gets paid, he signs at the bottom to show that he's very happy with mommy. Mommy signs at the bottom to show that she's very happy with her child. That goes into a special money box.
Wow. Wow.
Now, remember, this is a child's money. This child, we're teaching him to earn money, we're teaching him to save money, but we're also teaching him to spend money. Now, if we're not careful, we could turn this child into a spender, like most adults are. Most adults are spenders. So if we turn this child into a spender, how can we live up to its name, Millionaire in the Making? Oh, we overcome that very easily. We say to the child, listen here, you are going to earn stickers every day. There are 365 days in the year. If you can accumulate more than 300 stars for the year, we will give you a very, very, very big bonus.
At the end of the year.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Fredericks, this is all the time we have today for the show. I know it is exciting. There's more to talk about. So, this is all we can do for now. But for those that is watching at home, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for coming to the show, Mr. Fredericks. We're going to have to sign out, guys. It was fun, but all good things come to an end. So, for now, it's goodbye, but it's not the last goodbye. So, see you guys till next time.